Okay, I think this is live. Yep. All right, so we're at the artist space here, and I'm doing the last set of tech updates, hopefully, for our final meetings to figure out our launch for next month. So you can see I got, it's a little dark, but I got all my soldering stuff set up, ready to go to fix the Triple S amp stacker, which is quite cool. And so check this out. It's two. You got an amp here and a bass amp down there. When I flip this, it goes whoop whoop whoop. Lights up with some cool stuff. Uh, I got to figure out why it's humming. And I put in a cool new blue light back there. So I just finished doing that. Um, yeah, we got all the tools. We're ready to go. And right now I'm about to start soldering our snake for the amp stacker into our interface, which is over here. There's a Scarlett 18i20 down there, and then over there is I don't remember what the model number is, but the ultra gain things from Behringer 8 in 8 out optical setup, and it's pretty sweet. So yeah, here we are in the artist space, and we are hoping to launch in the coming month for REB Records. Woo! All right, so I'm gonna leave this streaming for a bit, and if it's worth watching me solder in really bright lights, then that's what you're gonna get. Boom. Yeah, it's actually the bass amp making all the noise. So I don't know what's up with that, but what it is, gotta figure that one out. And jump over here. So this box here is the ISO amp system developed by me and Triple S. And this one has a Fender Champion 40 up here, and down in the bottom, you can't really see it with the table here, but there's an Amtech bass amp. And then there's a pretty significant door that goes here and clamps. I have it off right now for painting, but it clamps on, and essentially this is a somewhat portable, but it's an isolation booth for like a home studio, that sort of setup. You have one switch, turns everything on, the amps, the fans, there's fans behind all of these, and then also allows you to just plug your guitar in here on the side, guitar effects pedal, so you can change between effects there. It's not an insert, like we've thought about doing that. Haven't yet, but we might with this one. And then you have a bass input, so you can just plug your instruments in here. All your mics are set up, also DIs are in here as well, and all those outputs come out right here. So your amps are isolated in a box. You can get clean, isolated sounds, and your inputs and outputs are available on the outside, so you're not in here jacking with everything, but if you want to, obviously you can. And then these are all on these little goosenecks, so you can adjust your levels and put different mic clips on, whatever you want, because everything's actually cabled in. And then we also ran all of our own power system in here with quad boxes and stuff. So We've made one that's a smaller. Oh, it's huge and it's heavy, but it's for 1 amp. It's for one huge Fender twin. Um, but this one's definitely a level up. Nice isolation everywhere, insulation everywhere, and on the behind the insulation actually is yet another firm, rigid fiberglass insulation. So when you close it up, it's pretty silent, even when that amp is cranked, which is great when you're working in your mama's basement. That's your situation. Or if you're in a small building where there maybe are other clients and you keep it down. Or if you're recording and there's another source in the room, like a drum set, and you have to have your drum set recorded. This is what the other one is being used for. You have to have your drum set recorded, and if you have your amp sitting there, that amp is going to be in all of your drum mics. Instead, you have your amp, you crank it, you get that little distortion from the drive, you got the volume up, and you close it, and it's isolated. And this is actually a technique that a bunch of live bands are using, because it also cuts back on, for live sound, things like feedback. So there's a lot of uses for an ISO amp. And right now I'm about to finish soldering the snake that connects an ISO amp to the interface. Where this whole thing gets pretty boring. Which is why you bring the little beers. Yeah, potentially put on some music. And we've got, everything here is set up to really be usable for the project musician. You know, obviously this room isn't big enough to have a band in, even though we've done some of that work. Here's a little John Faddis, Wynton Marsalis, Arturo Sandoval, and James Morrison, who, if you don't know, James Morrison is maybe the least known of those four. Once again, that's John Faddis, Wynton Marsalis, Arturo Sandoval, and James Morrison. James Morrison is an Australian horn player, and I say horn player, Jesus, sir. Yeah. I say horn player because he plays everything. He's got a ridiculous record out 10 years ago, but it was called Snappy Doo. I don't know why this video is up, but whatever. And oh my God, Snappy Doo. He's playing all the trumpet parts, sax parts, trombone, there's tuba. I think he plays some piano in there. He's not playing bass and drums, but it's a phenomenal record. Man, the guy can scream. You might remember him if you remember the Sydney Olympics. Well, trumpet player. They're screaming high notes on the opening ceremonies. James Morrison arranged and is playing that. Could just cut these, but I might be able to reuse some of it. So we'll see. well, shoot, I forgot vice grips, which I was hoping to have, because they make some of this stuff a lot easier. That's James Morrison, probably. Oh, okay, that's a good sign there. So what I'm doing right now, ooh, listen to that. No, that's a Turo. Totally wrong. It's the way he started with that sort of fuzz tone, but now that it's getting higher, you start to hear some of that mid-high harmonic stuff, where it sounds like it's almost splitting. Without some rubber band. Knew that was coming. So the problem with this cable is it's not prepped very well. Which I guess is what you get when you pay not very much for it. Connectors actually look fine. Great thing. There it is. So then we save these connectors another time. Yeah, that's James Morrison. You can hear that little fuzz tone in there. It's kind of crazy on I always like this plan. He's the master of that. Wait. Half that place. Yeah. I had. These are spring loaded, but oh, hold on, if I did no. That's John Fax. It's got a really tight high range. A very consistent set of overtones through the whole high range. That a lot of lead guys can't do. I definitely can do. Or play like half octaves high as well. It's not always about how high you can play. A little Louis Armstrong quote there. Two more to unsolder before we get to solder. Super exciting. This is the stuff champions are made of right here. Sitting by yourself in the studio on a beautiful first 80-degree day of the year. That's whitening again. Nope. Dang. I'm off today. That's James Morrison again. Or maybe they switched. Yeah, they're switching. Okay. That is. Yeah. Definitely Winton has the most tonal control, probably because he's a pretty... Oh, that's Arturo with that squeaky stuff. It's amazing that he can control it, but that I can kind of do. But oh, that's who's that? James. Yep. Better. going to do one more of these, then I'll explain what I'm doing. What the hell? I think James Morrison just said, I'm not doing that. Arturo doing a little bit of showing his tricks. I don't know if it's worth it. That's nice. Boom. Oh, I got it. Okay. I have a soldering iron, they're real hot, but it's hard to tell. It looks like they use some cheap solder on that stuff. Yeah, James. There it is. Alright, so Jesus, that's not easy. So what I've done, I've taken these off, XLR female, and there's 4 parts in each of those. Look like this. You have the shell, you have the actual contact points that get an XLR would get plugged into. So that contact piece in these goes inside here. And now it's starting to look like an XLR on the front. Then you have this strain relief piece that goes on the back here, and as you tighten this, that clamps down on the cable. So when you yank out your cable, hopefully it pulls here first, as opposed to on your actual solder points that are in there. You can see that. That's the idea. And then the last piece is just this, which also has some strain relief built into it, that bendable part. So pretty well built unit here. It was just soldered like crap, and I'm replacing it with one of my favorite connectors, the MC3 MXXB. The B stands for gold plated. So these are very, I like them, high quality in all parts. You can get them real hot, they don't melt. None of this stuff melts when you're soldering, which is important. And so none of this melts. So these are Neutrix, NC3M, which means male. XX, I think, is the black color. -B. NC, probably Neutrix connector 3, meaning it has 3 contacts. M, meaning it's a male XLR. X maybe means XLR, and then another X I think means the black color. And then the B I think means gold plated, because they're gold plated. I get them from Parts Express, go together well. Strain relief is awesome. I've used them over and over and over and over and over, and they don't fall apart. So that's what I'm doing. I think probably that's enough for a live stream on the artist space here, as it's about to get more boring. And I'm just going to be soldering a bunch of stuff together, putting it in there. I got 5 connectors to solder, and then potentially test some stuff. We'll see. That's the goal, is to get these 5 connectors soldered together, and then to just clean up. Cool.